The Kerbylon project was a dream given form. Its mission, to slip the surly bonds of Kerbal, to explore outer space, to reach for the horizon, to seek to strive, to never fall, to not go quietly into that good night. This is the Kerbylon project. Hello and welcome back to the Kerbylon project. Now, we had our first semi-successful suborbital flight. We got up a reasonable height, went a reasonable distance, and everyone landed safely and alive, which, you know, this was the first crew to actually manage that, so there's a big plus there. But I think we need to modify our... Oh, there's a lot of other spaceships here, which we don't... This was just me messing around and learning to play. Where's my B spaceship? Got an auto-saved spaceship, but I don't see my B. I thought I saved a KP-01B. Let's have a look at the auto-saved ship. Is this the one with the staging done correctly? I think so. I can't remember now. Okay. I'll assume the staging's correct on this, and we'll modify this. Okay, now, this initial launch engine was a little bit weedy. We weren't quite getting to the upper reaches of the atmosphere before that thing ran out, so my orbital stage had too much work to do. So, we're going to add some solid rocket boosters. So I'm going to use a tri-radial decoupler, so like so, and we'll stick some solid rocket boosters on this. Get them about the right. Let's move these down a bit. Oops. The problem I'm seeing is... Well, I was hoping I could get them to line up with the bottom so they could help support the weight while it's on the pad, but that will do. Okay, so this says KP-01B, so this is now the KP-01C, and I will actually hit save this time. So let us see whether or not we can get this up into the big black. Okay, here we go. Camera to auto. Asdasd on. Full throttle. And launch. There we go. So we want to go straight up on this. Once these solid rocket boosters run out of fuel, I should be able to jettison them, so I don't, so I'm not carting around their heavy weight. So here we go, running out of fuel. And we have successful RBS separation and ignition or re-ignition of our main engine. I'm not sure this one was firing earlier, but we're already at 2,000 meters now, which is better than we had before. So I'm not sure how high I want to be before I start my my orbital bank. Essentially, when I start pointing myself a bit towards the 90-degree mark on the compass point there, which is off to the right as we're looking at it right now. I'm going to try it at about 5,000 kilometers. At 5 kilometers, I'll start tipping over slightly. Not much, just slightly. Okay, SAS off. Let's try tipping us over. Just a little bit. Oops. No. Okay, these controls are a little bit twitchy, and SAS on. Okay, heading 89 degrees, that's pretty good. Now, so as I was trying to say earlier, and I think I got distracted by an emergency, the orange angled bit, that's where my nose is pointing. The yellow circle with the crosshairs, that's my actual direction of travel. So at the moment I'm not actually moving completely in the direction I'm pointing. I'm actually sort of dropping off a bit. That could be because this thing still needs a bit more oomph behind its engines. Jefford, Malbert and Bob Long are freaking out as usual. How's the fuel going? We've still got one more fuel tank after this. Let's take a quick look at our map. Okay, that's not bad. I do wish we were heading up a bit more. Our direction of travel is still a bit too off to the side. Now I'm going to try actually pointing myself in my direction of travel now, so we get slightly more sideways motion, and lock us in with that SAS thing. Okay, we're on our final fuel tank of this stage. This is the getting us to orbit stage. Watching that fuel just keep thrusting in the direction of travel because it's the most efficient. There we go. And then I want to jettison and start thrusting on my next stage as quickly as I can once I run out of fuel on this stage. So we're approaching 40 kilometers now, which is good. There we go. Okay, now I want to get a bit of height because the atmosphere goes out to 75, and unless I get higher than that, I won't be able to have a completely stable orbit. So, but I'm going to cut there, check the map. Okay. Now, see, the apoapsis is dropping. Oh no, actually that's holding pretty steady at 67. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, so I'm going to wait until I reach this apoapsis before I thrust again. Let me actually get my controls here so I can keep this pointing like so. In fact, in general, if you point at the horizon like that, then you can wait until your direction of travel lines up with that before you thrust. Let's get a nice view on that. So let's start accelerating. If we look here on the map, what will hopefully happen is I'll start pushing this apoapsis out ahead of me, and this will start elongating. But it's possible I don't have the power. Come on, come on. No, no. See, if the apoapsis starts going behind, then I'm probably not going to reach orbit. This thing did not have the thrust. So I either need to... Well, I think it's a lot more of... this was a lot more of a successful flight than we had last time. You know, I think we're going to cover a greater distance. We're still going to splash down in the ocean, though. I don't think we're going to have a land landing, which is going to make my Kerbals slightly unhappy. You know, they don't like the ocean. They get seasick. They're fine in space, but they get seasick. So let us cut that, and we may as well separate to our next stage. Oops, we're kind of stuck on our rocket motors, and I have no form of thrust on this thing. So let me turn SAS off so I actually have control. Oh, I haven't quite got the controls sorted yet. A little more gently, a little more gently. Just steer towards the green ball. Steer to... There we go. So I think this is certainly more successful than the last suborbital flight. It is still suborbital though. We haven't quite... This is our orbital path. And this is the apoapsis. Apoapsis means this is the highest point in your trajectory. Like if you imagine this, oh, you can't see the mouse pointer, can you? I forgot that I hid it. Yeah. So the idea is that if you accelerate fast enough, you can make this this blue line, which is your orbital track, go around the planet, so you never actually land. You know, that's all an orbit is it's falling and continually missing the ground. That's one thing that Douglas Adams got right. Let's move the camera so we're behind the direction of travel. I don't quite understand. Orbital just gives you a sideways view. That's a chase camera. See, auto is the angle I want, but it doesn't keep it there. So, okay, what's our altitude? Our altitude is 10 kilometers and dropping. I'm going to increase time compression slightly. Wait, there we go. Okay, cannot warp faster than ×2 while in the atmosphere, but that's okay. So this is just speeding up time in the game, because there's an awful lot of waiting in space travel. So I'm going to wait till we hit 2 kilometers. Then I think I should deploy my drag chute, turn SAS off, and there we go. I think that's a... Are we slowing down enough? Perfect. So we have another successful splashdown. Put the landers out for no reason whatsoever. Huh. And we'll just watch them splash down. Okay. That was a good flight. End flight. Once again, my Kerbals survived, which is good. Okay, G-forces endured was 4.6 G. Possibly I opened the chute a little too late, so the deceleration pull on it was a bit too much. But that's okay. I mean, in general, you can, 7 Gs is fine. And trained astronauts will go up to 10 or 11 Gs, I think. So, highest altitude was 67.5 kilometers. That's pretty good. Okay. Back to the vehicle assembly building. I think the Kerbylon project 01 Orbital 1C Orbital 1 design has gone as far as it's going to. Design notes. We don't have enough thrust. Possibly it's because I've got, this lander and stuff, but but I want this to at least be my basic spaceship for now. Oops. There we go. So let's get rid of all that stuff. So my lander, this is working fine. We need a bit better now. I think I used one of these on the orbital stage and it really didn't have the thrust, so we'll try this one and a little more fuel. What have we got? 500, 250. Let's go with 2 of them and that engine. And now we want... And we're going to go... Okay, first we put our decoupler, and then we're going to go with this stack tri-coupler. Now this essentially will let me put 3 rockets at the bottom. So if I go 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I didn't have radial symmetry turned on, but I can do it now still. Like so. And then one of these big mother rockets. So now we've got 3 of them down there, with 3 times the fuel capacity to get our orbital stage up there. So I've got good hopes for that. Let's make sure we've got the aerial stability while we're in the lower atmosphere. These don't want to go... I want to line this up properly. There we go. And smaller ones at the top. At least I think they're smaller. Or they're just a different design. Okay, so this is the Kerbylon Project Orbital Mark II, or Type 2. Let's launch. Now, so my plan with this is using these stock parts. I want to get to the moon, land, and return my Kerbal safely to Kerbal, as close to the Kerbal Space Center as possible. Once I've done that, then if the game hasn't advanced that far in that time, because this game is still in development and they're still bringing out fresh stuff for it. If it hasn't, then I will look to the forums and use some of the mods. Like there's some wonderful space plane stuff out there, you know, and I've got ideas of what I want to do. But right, check control surfaces. I'm not seeing any. Yeah, there we go. Pitch, roll, throttle up. ACS, SAS on, and launch. Okay, now I don't have any solid rocket boosters on this thing yet, so we'll see how we do with just these three. If necessary, we can add that optional SRB stage. So we'll keep going up until I think I want to hit 10 kilometers before I start tipping over. I mean, one of the things is if you check your map, because of the rotation of the planet, your orbital trajectory is always east anyway. Which is one of the reasons why on Earth a lot of launch centres are situated on the east coasts of countries. That way, if they go, you know, if what comes up must come down, it'll usually come down in the ocean. Right, so I'm approaching 5 kilometers. How am I doing on fuel? Current fuel tank's burnt. Okay, I think I've got one more set of fuel after this, because I'm burning three tanks at once. So that's pretty good. If 2 tanks will get me to 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers? Yes. Then that last one can be used after I've tilted over slightly. So let's give ourselves a bit of lateral motion. Get that on that 90 line and lock it in. I didn't want to do too much there because height is what I really need. The sideways orbital momentum, the orbiting stage can do that. So, okay, we're about to run out of fuel, so getting ready to separate. Oh no, we've still got more fuel. Huh. Okay, we've got more fuel, so let's try and angle a bit more. There we go. So that's tilted us over slightly more. Now this thing in general, if you notice, the direction of travel has been matching where my nose is a lot more. And I think that's because we've got a lot more thrust. I'm thinking, actually, that there's something gone wrong with my decouplers, because I'm not seeing an engine on the next stage. So it's possible these guys, it's possible the orbiting side of it has messed up. Let me try separate. Yeah. No, do you see here? Where I'm highlighting on the left, the engine and fuel tanks for the orbiting stage for some reason have ended up as part of the parachute to the ground stage. They should be down there. Can I move that now? I don't know. It's let me drag them down now. Let me try throttling. No. Okay. Well, teething problems with all designs. This one more possibly than others. And the real problem is we're still attached to that orbital stage, and we have no way of firing its engines. Right, what's our trajectory? We are going to come down. You can see that this is a tricky game. Okay, looks like we're coming down on land this time, unless the atmosphere slows us down. We're going to get real height. Oh, have they added lights to the night side of this game? I've been watching other people play. That's how I learnt about this game. I first saw it on Kurt J. Mack's channel. I don't think there's anything I can do. So let us go to the map view and speed up time a bit. Hang on, we've got to make sure. I wish you would stay up. Got to turn off SAS so I can increase the time warp. Notice that the rocket is staying right with me. There we go. Okay, so this is at a ×2 warp. Actually, let's go to ×1. And let's correct the attitude of our spaceship. We want to be... use SAS to stabilize. And then I can gently... There we go. So I'm facing opposite to the direction of travel. So that's where we're heading. Hopefully that thing won't hit us on the way down. One thing is I'm not certain that my parachute is going to deploy. So this might be goodbye to Jefford, Malbert and Boblong. Which is a shame because I like saying the word Boblong. Yeah, you can see the orbital path has shifted now. Oops. Well, there we go. See, yeah. So it was heading for land, but that's atmospheric friction. Once you get into the atmosphere, it starts slowing you down. What's our altitude at? 29,000. Okay, now okay, the parachute has deployed, but it's got... I mean, that parachute is designed to keep... Oh, look at those G-forces. They really shot up, didn't they? I think... Now, they're not modelling it at the moment, but they are going to start introducing it, so it's possible to kill your Kerbynauts purely by G-forces, and I think I would have killed them then. So, if you look at that down speed indicator, that's still pointing all the way down. The parachute will fully deploy at 500 meters. It's just a question of, will it be able to slow this thing down? Because I don't think it will. I'm going to have to check out my staging again. I need to learn that you can't quite trust it. Ooh. Downward speed. We're still dropping pretty fast. And we're dead. Bye-bye, Jefford. Bye-bye, Malbert. Bye-bye, Boblong. Yeah, G-forces endured 12.3. So what happened?